Olympus, where there are a bunch of Roman gods who want to fuck him up. Well, actually, it's just Bacchus, but that is, like, a lot, because Bacchus has his Bacchants, and he's, like, god of madness, and wine, and insanity. Oh, my gosh. So it might as well be a bunch of fucking Roman gods. So Atticus goes, oh, alright, this is where I have to do it, and we'll take precautions, and so they shift to Olympus. There's probably some more that I should tell you about that visit to Tir na Nog, but I don't think I have the time. So they shift to Olympus, and find themselves a nice little hidey hole, stash their shit, and then go into town to get some more supplies for the ritual. And while in town, meet a vampire. And Atticus approaches said vampire and says, hey, by the way, do you know someone named Theophilus? He's, like, supposed to be this really old, powerful vampire. Well, the vampire he's approaching gets really angry and scared and attacks Atticus, and Atticus goes, alright, fuck you, and unbinds him, leaving a mess and a lot of problems and that they have to clean up. But because of that, now there's some shit with the vampires. So they go back, they start the binding ritual, and of course there's a lot of sexual tension between Atticus and Granuaile, and so it's awkward as fuck. But then in the middle of the ritual, they get attacked by a bunch of Fey assassins. And they don't know why. They don't know why. They don't know what's going on. So after they dispatch all these Fey assassins, they go back to, well, not Tir na Nog, but this other Irish plane called Maumelle. And they go heal up and chill out. And Atticus sits and has a talk with the god of craft brews, Govnu, and says, hey, look, I'm trying to get rid of vampires, so what if I put out a bounty and I will pay X amount of gold for every vampire slain? So Atticus has decided he's going to start a war on the vampires, because the vampires waged a war on the Druids, and he was the only one that survived. So Govnu goes, alrighty then. And Atticus goes, neato. So they all shift back to Olympus and start back up with the ritual, and start binding Granuaile again. And then Bacchus shows up, of course. And they barely miss him, so they grab a few weapons and hoof it, literally, like Atticus shifts into a stag, and they hoof it into town, where they have the most epic battle against dark elves. It is the most terrifying thing on the face of the planet that it gives me nightmares, but it's so cool. Like, I like, it freaks me out and scares me, but it is so cool. Like, these dark elves, they show up dressed up as clowns. I know, and they start attacking Atticus in a sporting goods store, and they're like really fucking smart about it. Oh my gosh. But it turns out that the dark elves are working for the vampires, who want to get rid of the last druid because druids can unbind them on sight. Like, oh my gosh. But as part of this, guess who shows up out of fucking nowhere? Leif fucking Helgerson shows up out of nowhere. And so you don't know what side he's on, because on the one hand, he's having to work with Theophilus because oldest vampire and kind of like runs the show in the vampiric world. But on the other hand, he's like killing dark elves for Atticus towards the end, when Atticus is out of fucking power and is half burnt to death. Oh my gosh, that was the coolest part. There was one part
where, like, one of the dark elves covered himself in gasoline and then lit himself on fire and then turned in, like, smoke shortly after igniting himself, and so that all the excess gasoline that was already ablaze fell on Atticus. And so he was, like, on fire. And then another dark elf, because he's immobilized, because he's on fucking fire, another dark elf starts pouring more lighter fluid on him. And oh my gosh, it was terrifying. But it was like, you gotta go like, man, I gotta give you credit. That is horrifyingly clever. Right? So, in the middle of all this battle, Atticus realizes what's going on. Pandemonium. What does this mean? This means that Faunus and, no, probably just Faunus. Faunus in cahoots with Bacchus, who wants to kill Atticus, because there's a lot of us's in these names, I just realized. Bacchus wants to kill Atticus because Atticus insulted him and fucked up a lot of shit and killed some of his Bacchants and stuff and things and reasons. So Bacchus wants to kill Atticus, so he employs Faunus to disrupt all the tether points to Tir na Nog in Europe, except for at Olympus, so that Atticus has no choice but to bind Granuel at Olympus. And so therefore they are, dun dun dun, trapped. So that's what Faunus does. Faunus causes pandemonium, which disrupts all the tethers to Tir na Nog. So Atticus is like, alright, fuck this shit. And he goes and he kidnaps a bunch of dryads who are favorites of Faunus. Faunus loves his dryads, if you don't know anything. Faunus loves his dryads. He likes to get jiggy with them. That was so lame. And so Atticus kidnaps them and puts them on these islands in Tir na Nog where time moves slower. So he puts them on there, and so that when he goes and retrieves them, like, it'll only be like 3 seconds from their point of view, as opposed to the 3 months from his point of view, or 3 weeks or whatever. So he does that, and he sends a message to the Olympians and says, hey, look, I will return the dryads as soon as my apprentice is bound and done. As soon as all this is done, once she's bound and the ritual is over, as long as you let me shift to another part of Europe to complete this ritual, and you keep Bacchus and Faunus the fuck away from me so that I can finish this, you'll get your fucking dryads back. And the Olympians go, alright. So he finishes the binding ritual, and Atticus and Granuel engage in fucking stupid human mating habits. Human mating habits are stupid. I'm just saying. That's like my new mantra in life. Human mating habits are stupid. Actually, that's something that Oberon says. Anyways, so Granuel and Atticus hook up, and then they go back to Tir na Nog, where Granuel is rewarded with a Neato Schmeato Fey weapon of her own, which is a staff called Skawaja. That's pretty fucking awesome. For more details, I highly recommend that you read the book. But while they're in Tir na Nog checking out this new nifty weapon, Hermes and Mercury, the messenger of the Olympians, come and visit, and they're like, yeah, we want our fucking dryads back. So Atticus goes, oh shit, we forgot about that. And so they shift back to Olympus, and they return all the dryads from the Time Islands, and just as they return the last dryad, guess who shows up? Fucking Bacchus.
fucking Bacchus. And so Bacchus goes full insanity mode and is like, I mean, scary. But thankfully, Granuaile, in her noobness, I don't know, like, she left the portal to the Time Island open, and Atticus manages to shove Bacchus through the portal onto this, island of slow-moving time. So, that's important. And then, oh my gosh, there's so much going on in this book series and I keep forgetting. So then, now that Granuaile is bound to the earth, here comes the Norse knocking at the door and saying, hey, guess what? You promised to kill Fenris, because that was what Thor was supposed to do during Ragnarok, and now you helped kill Thor, so you get to kill Fenris. And guess what? Fucking Freya is gonna take you. So, I mean, it's a really good read, and I don't feel like I'm doing it justice. But Atticus and Granuaile go to Hell, and they kill Fenris. And then they come back, and they start doing basically a Druid's world tour, introducing Granuaile to all the elementals around the world so that she can be like, hey, what's up? What can I do to help? What things do you need? What things do you love? Blah, 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 right? And they're just starting on that when, out of fucking nowhere, the goddesses, the Olympian goddesses of the hunt, Artemis and Diana, fucking show up, guns blazing. Not literally, like, arrows and shit, but, they show up. And the Morrigan says, you guys need to run, and you need to run now. Go. I will fight them off. And that's where it fucking ends. So Trapped actually, like, really seamlessly goes into Hunted. So if you haven't read the books already, and I'm really, like, hope you do, even though if you haven't read them and you're at this point in this show, I just want to tell you that Trapped and Hunted go hand in hand. Like, they just seamlessly flow into each other. So I highly recommend reading them back to back. And it's really hard for me to not go, oh, wait, no, let me tell you everything that happens in Hunted now. Because it's so great and it's so seamless. So, cliffhanger! Yay! Wow, I think this is like the most focused I have ever been doing one of these shows. Wow. So, that's all I have to say about that. Once again, go read the books if you haven't. Better yet, listen on audio. I love Luke Daniels. Go. Oh, so good. So, if you would like to contact me on social media, not just social media, on the internet, anywhere, what you need to be looking for is PurpleBecca923. That's PurpleBecca 923. That is my username on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. With regards to Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, I always follow back unless and until you send me something inappropriate, in which case you will be dealt with accordingly. PurpleBecca923 at gmail.com is the email address, and PurpleBecca923.com is the website, because uniformity. Woo! So, until next time, remember, learning is fun, education is fresh, so go out there, create what you deserve, and fly with the penguins. Toodaloo!